I wasn't supposed to be at the mall that day. I'd had the afternoon off, and after weeks of scrolling through TikTok seeing people show off their rare Stanley Cups, I decided to try my luck. They were sold out everywhere. Online, Target, Starbucks. But I thought maybe, just maybe, a smaller mall would still have some tucked away. The one I went to was half dead. You know the kind. Empty storefronts, peeling paint, the smell of old popcorn and mildew lingering in the air. Only a handful of stores were still open. A nail salon, a luggage shop, and an arcade that barely had any working machines.
We need you to come with us.
I walked through 2 department stores, searched the shelves. Nothing. Just the usual overpriced bottles and off-brand tumblers. I was about to leave when I noticed a small shop I'd never seen before, crammed between the luggage place and the arcade. The sign above the glass door was faded, just block letters that said, "Gifts and Collectibles." Inside, the window was dusty, the display cluttered with random junk, old mugs, figurines, keychains. It looked more like a thrift store than a gift shop. I almost didn't go in. But then I thought, what if this is where they've been hiding the good stuff? The bell above the door jingled when I stepped inside. The air was thick, musty, like damp cardboard. Behind the counter sat a man in his 50s, gray hair slicked back, polo shirt stretched tight over his stomach. His smile was too wide, too eager. Before I could even ask, he said, "Looking for the Stanley Cups, right?" I froze. Yeah. He grinned wider, leaning forward. "The good ones are in the basement. People go crazy for them. You came to the right place." Something in my chest tightened. He hadn't asked, hadn't waited for me to explain. He just knew. But I ignored the warning bells. I told myself maybe everyone was coming in for them. Maybe it was obvious why I was there. "Follow me," he said, jangling a ring of keys. He led me behind the counter to a narrow door I hadn't noticed before. It opened to a concrete stairwell that smelled like mold and metal. The farther down we went, the colder it got. The lights flickered above, casting long shadows across the damp walls. My shoes echoed on the steps, each sound swallowed by the silence below. I tried to break the tension. "So, do a lot of people come here for them?" He didn't answer right away. His shoulders stiffened. When he finally spoke, his voice was lower, almost muttered. "You girls, always chasing shiny things, ready to pay anything just to stay relevant." I stopped on the steps. "What?" He turned his head slightly, gave me a tight smile. "Just a joke." But it didn't feel like a joke. We reached a metal door at the bottom. He unlocked it, the hinges groaning as it swung open. The room beyond was dim, lit by a single bulb swinging from the ceiling. And it was empty. No shelves, no boxes, no merchandise, just bare concrete walls. I froze. My throat went dry. "My mom's waiting in the car," I blurted, fumbling for my phone. "Maybe I should get her too." He stopped walking. His grin fell. His jaw clenched. "There are no cups here," he said flatly. His voice was different now, cold, stripped of the fake cheer. Something inside me snapped. I bolted. I ran up the stairs 2 at a time, my breath ragged, heart hammering. I didn't dare look back. I pushed through the door into the store and kept going, out into the mall, nearly slipping on the tile as I sprinted for the exit. When I finally slammed my car, door shut, my whole body shook. Tears burned my eyes. All the warning signs I'd ignored, the way he knew what I wanted, the way his smile never reached his eyes, the empty basement, they all came crashing down. I drove straight home, hands gripping the wheel so tight my knuckles went white. That night I searched for the store online. Nothing. No listing, no reviews, no photos, like it didn't exist. The next morning I dragged my boyfriend back to the mall. The store was closed. The door chained shut, paper covering the windows. A handwritten note taped to the glass read, "Closed permanently." We asked a security guard what had happened. He frowned, confused. "What store? That unit's been empty for months." I wanted to argue, to scream, but the words stuck in my throat. I still don't know what I walked into. But sometimes, when I'm at another store, Target, Starbucks, anywhere I see rows of cups lined neatly on a shelf, I feel it again, that twisting sensation in my gut, the memory of his smile. And once, just once, I swear I saw him. Standing at the end of the aisle, gray hair slicked back, polo shirt hanging loose, grinning, watching me. When I blinked, he was gone. But in my cart, sitting neatly on top of my groceries, was a Stanley Cup I hadn't picked up, and the rim was wet, like someone had just taken a sip. I wasn't a bad kid. At least, that's what I told myself. I didn't skip class, I did my homework, I kept my head down. People hardly noticed me, and I preferred it that way. But no matter how invisible I tried to be, there was always Tessa. Tessa was perfect. Beautiful brown hair, laugh that made teachers smile, grades that looked like she barely worked for. She had friends in every corner of the cafeteria, and admirers trailing behind her like shadows. Teachers loved her. Students wanted to be her, and even when she was cruel, which was often, people still gravitated toward her. And me? I was the background character, quiet, ordinary, forgettable, which meant every time someone compared me to her, I felt like I was drowning in her light. It all started with a cup. It was a Tuesday morning. The hallway was buzzing, lockers slamming, sneakers squeaking on the linoleum floor. I sat at my desk, scribbling in my notebook, when Tessa strutted, and in her hand was a brand new Stanley Cup. Not just any cup, one of those limited edition shimmering lavender ones that had sold out online in hours. "Oh my God, Tessa, is that the new one?" someone squealed. Tessa smirked, holding it up like a trophy. "Rare things find rare people," she said, eyes sliding toward me for just a second. I knew what she meant. She knew I couldn't afford something like that, and she wanted me to feel it, and I did. Deep in my gut, something twisted. All day, she paraded that cup around. She made sure everyone saw it, made sure I saw it. She'd bump my desk accidentally, laughing when water sloshed inside. She'd sip loudly, her nails tapping against the steel, that smug smirk never leaving her face. By fifth period, something inside me had snapped. Tessa left her things on her desk before gym class. Everyone filed out, the hallway echoing with laughter and chatter. I stayed behind. My heart hammered against my ribs, but my hands moved on their own. I picked up the cup. It was heavier than I expected. The shimmer danced under the fluorescent, lights purple and silver rippling as I tilted it. I imagined it hitting the floor, denting, cracking. I imagined Tessa's face crumpling, her perfect mask breaking for once. Finally, she'd feel what I felt every single day. I raised the cup, ready to drop it. "What are you doing?" Her voice sliced through me. I turned, and there she was, standing in the doorway. Her eyes were wide, but not with fear. Anger. I froze. I could have put the cup down. I could have apologized. But then she spoke again. "How dare you touch my cup with your filthy hands?" She stepped closer, her voice venomous. "You think breaking it will make you me? You'll always be nothing. Trash. That's what you are." Her words hit harder than a slap. "It's just a cup," I muttered. "Of course you don't get it," she sneered, coming closer. "You're jealous of me. Always will be. You're pathetic." She shoved me. Not hard, but enough to jolt the cup from my hands. It clattered against the floor with a dull thud, but didn't break. Her smirk returned, sharp as a blade. "These don't break so easily. But how would you know? This cup costs more than your dad makes in a week." Something inside me cracked. My hand shot out, grabbing the nearest thing I could find, a sharp pencil from a desk. I didn't think, I didn't plan, I just stabbed. The pencil drove into her left eye. The scream that tore out of her was animalistic, raw. She staggered back, clutching her face as blood gushed between her fingers. She dropped to the ground, thrashing, shrieking. The sound echoed down the hallway. I stood frozen, the cup still at my feet, blood spattered on my hands. Teachers and students rushed in. Someone pulled me back. Someone else held Tessa down. Her screams filled the air, shrill and desperate. She didn't die, but she lost her eye. The weeks that followed blurred together. Police, lawyers, counselors. They tried me as a minor, but I still spent 3 years in juvenile detention, followed by 2 more in mandatory therapy. My parents barely looked at me after that. My friends, what few I had, stopped calling. Tessa moved away with her family. Rumor was she had surgery, a prosthetic eye, scars she covered with makeup. But she'd never be the same. Neither would I. Part of my rehabilitation was speaking at schools. They parade me into classrooms and auditoriums, make me tell my story as a warning. Don't let jealousy consume you. Don't let anger control you. All that crap. Sometimes I bring the cup with me. Yes, the same Stanley Cup. After the trial, they gave it to me, said it might help me face my guilt. It's cracked now, dented from when it hit the floor, but it still shimmers under the light, mocking me. Every time I hold it, I see Tessa's face. I hear her scream. I remember the wet crunch when the pencil pierced her eye. And sometimes, I hear her. At night, when the house is quiet, I'll set the cup on my nightstand. I'll try to sleep, but whispers fill the room. You'll always be nothing. I'll bolt upright, heart pounding, and the cup will be there, glinting in the dark. One night, I swear I saw condensation on the rim. Like someone had just taken a sip. I don't drink from it, I never have, but sometimes when I pick it up, the lid is warm. Like it's been touched. And when I close my eyes, I see her, Tessa, standing at the end of my bed, one eye missing, blood streaking her cheek, her hands outstretched. She doesn't say anything. She just points at the cup. I don't know why. I keep it. Maybe I deserve it. Maybe it deserves me. But I know one thing. Jealousy didn't just ruin my life. It followed me home. I've been working the night shift at a fast food place for almost a year now. It's not glamorous, but it pays for my rent and keeps gas in my car, so I deal with it. Most nights are the same, dead quiet after 11 p.m., with the occasional drunk customer stumbling in for fries or a burger. The thing about night shifts is the silence. Once the rush dies down, it's just the hum of the fryer, the buzz of the soda machine, and your own thoughts echoing in your head. You'd think the silence would be peaceful, but it isn't. Silence at that hour feels heavy, like the building itself is holding its breath. That night was a Tuesday. It had been pouring rain since evening, and by midnight the parking lot outside was a shimmering mirror of neon lights. No cars, no people, just empty asphalt reflecting the golden arches like a ghostly signpost in the storm. I was leaning on the counter, fighting sleep when the door chimed. It startled me, not the sound, but the fact that I hadn't heard a car pull up. Usually headlights flash first, tires splash against wet pavement. But the lot was still empty. A woman stood in the entrance. She wore a long, moth-eaten coat, the kind people used to wear decades ago. Her hair was thin, patchy, and slicked to her forehead from the rain. Her face, God, her face was wrong. Thick, chalky white makeup clung to her skin like cracked plaster. Red lipstick smeared well beyond her lips, curving upward into a grotesque imitation of a smile. Faded blue eyeshadow caked her eyelids. She looked like someone trying, and failing, to impersonate a clown. But what unsettled me most were her hands. Her nails were painted a glossy crimson, long and curved like talons. She clutched an oversized Stanley Cup with both hands. The thing was covered in glitter stickers, scratches, and dents. "Are you open?" she asked in a sing-song voice. Her teeth were yellowed, stained like old coffee, and when she smiled too wide, I felt a chill deep in my gut. "Yeah, we're open," I replied, forcing a polite tone. She ordered a small fries, paid in exact change, each coin placed deliberately in my palm. Cold metal pressed against my skin, and I swear her fingers lingered too long, curling slightly as if testing my pulse. She shuffled to the farthest booth in the corner and sat down. I dropped the fries in the oil, but my eyes kept flicking toward her. She didn't move much. just sipped from her Stanley Cup slowly, almost reverently. The rain hammered on the roof above us, lightning flaring across the windows. That's when I noticed it. Every time she sipped, a thin red line dripped down her chin. At first I thought it was lipstick smearing, but then I saw her tongue dart out, licking it clean with a satisfied smile. The liquid was thick, too dark, too red. I froze. The fries hissed in the fryer, but I couldn't move. She tilted her head back and swallowed with this wet, gulping sound that made bile rise in my throat. It wasn't soda. I told myself it had to be some kind of juice, maybe cherry or cranberry. But deep down I knew. It looked like blood. My skin prickled with goosebumps. I ducked into the back, pretending to check stock, but really I just needed distance. My hands shook as I pulled out my phone and dialed 911. "I don't know how to explain this," I whispered. "But there's a woman here. She's drinking something and it looks like blood. Please, just send someone." The operator asked a few questions, and I gave vague answers, trying not to sound insane. 15 minutes later, 2 officers pulled up. I rushed to let them in, pointing toward the corner booth. The woman was still there, still sipping, still smiling. The younger cop approached her gently. "Ma'am, can we take a quick look at your cup?" Her fingers tightened around it. "It's mine," she hissed. "I need it, I'm still drinking." The older officer tried soothing her. "We just need to make sure you're okay. Please." After a tense minute, she finally handed it over. Her hands shook violently, her breath ragged. The officer popped the lid. He recoiled instantly. Inside floated several severed human fingers, pale, bloated, with chewed nails. The liquid inside the cup was dark red, metallic smelling. Blood, diluted with water. My stomach dropped, my vision blurred. The woman turned her head slowly toward me, and when our eyes met, she smiled. That horrible, stretched, painted-on smile. "I cleaned them for him," she whispered. "He touched her with those fingers. I had to make it right." The cops grabbed her, cuffed her, but she didn't fight. She just mumbled to herself, rocking slightly as they pulled her out the door. Later that night, one of the officers returned for the security footage. I asked him if she was crazy, if she needed a hospital. He hesitated, then said, "Her name's Eleanor Kessler. We found her husband at home, dead. She cut him apart, said he was cheating with his secretary. That cup was an anniversary gift. She told us it holds more than we could ever imagine." He left me with that. I didn't finish my shift. My manager came in early to cover. It's been weeks since then, but I still work the same night shift. And every time I pass that corner booth, I swear I see her for just a second. Coat zipped up to her chin, Stanley Cup in her hands, watching me. Sometimes when the fryer hums and the rain thuds against the roof, I think I hear her voice again, faint and sing-song. "Are you open?" And I know one day the door will chime again.